Hello and welcome. So today I'm going to be talking about Araxia and that DE has actually decided to go ahead and fix her. I'm as shocked as you are, but I'm going to take it because I really like Araxia. So the problem that Araxia had was that her third ability that would summon her Scudlers did not scale with the enemy level directly. They scaled off of the mission level. So if the mission level was just 100 to like 120, your Scudlers would just get up to 120. If you stayed in like an endurance mission or whatnot and your enemies got to, 3, 4, 500, 1,000, whatever, your Scudlers would not go that high. They'd be stuck at like that 120 range. So yeah, I don't think I have to go any further deeper into why that's not very good, but that has been changed. And I've been really enjoying just going over and testing out like the like Broodmother build, as it were, and just trying different things out. I've landed on a build that I am very happy with and I've been having a decent amount of time with, so I'm going to be sharing that with you. As a quick little heads up, this is going to be a fairly high investment build, just as a little FYI, because we are running persistence, and that's something that Araxia does really like to have, and that's how she does live. Also, I'm going to be going over like some of my choices that I've made and choices that you can make or changes that you can make in the build as well. So let's go ahead and get into this. So for starters, we're going to start with the Archon shards. I've got 2 armor shards. This is so that where we hit 800, the minimum for persistence is 700. So this puts us over that, so we'll be just fine. We don't need to like double this or anything because with Araxia's 4, she is status immune. So anything like fire procs or corrosive procs, anything like that that can like take away armor, that's not going to happen, so we're just fine. And then the last 3 I have here, these are the toxin status effect damage shards. These also synergize with her 4 because her 4 gives a lot of toxin damage to your weapon. You don't have to run like 3 of these if you don't want to. You can run, 1 or 2 or whatnot, but I just like running 3. And then on the topic of her toxin damage that she gets off of her 4, you do not want to run a Incarnon weapon, because when you transform your Incarnon, the toxin damage buff that you get does not apply to the transformed Incarnon state. It will apply to just the regular state, but not the transformed state. So just bear that in mind when you're picking weapons. So for the build itself, I've got Summoner's Wrath, I've got Preparation, I've got the triple Umbral mods here, I have Transient Fortitude, Archon Continuity, Prime Flow, Equilibrium, and Blind Rage. And then, as I mentioned earlier, rocking Arcane Persistence, and then Molt Augmented. And then my Helmuth that I decided to go for is Nourish, just for, spreading viral, and then the extra energy, because that also pairs with like Mercy's Kiss and whatnot, because we get a bunch of health and energy orbs with, Equilibrium, being able to scoop all that stuff up. So yeah, the negative efficiency I'm at, you do not feel it. You don't feel it at all. She is really energy efficient with all of this stuff. So one of the callouts that I'm going to make, that I'm sure some of you just noticed, is that I'm running Molt Augmented and not Bellicose. So Bellicose does not buff her 4. Bellicose will buff her other abilities, but it doesn't buff her 4, because Bellicose it basically like snapshots at that time when you cast it, and Bellicose isn't active, so her 4 doesn't get any of the benefits of Bellicose really. So that's why I decided to go with Molt Augmented, get, a bunch of kills, and then all of these get affected by Molt Augmented, so that's why I made that decision. Another thing that you're probably noticing is that I'm not running Arcane Grace at all. If you want to, you definitely can. You'll sacrifice a little bit of damage here because you won't be running Molt Augmented. But a little trick that you can do with her Self-Construct with her 4 is that if you're being dealt damage, you can just pop out of her 4 and pop right back in. And it's pretty quick too. And what that'll do is that'll just basically bring you back up to full health. So if you're getting, let's say you're at like 7,000 health, you get hit down to like 4,000 or 5,000 or whatnot, you go out of it, you go back in, you're back up to that 7,000 mark. So yeah, pretty little neat tech that you can do here with Araxia to go ahead and, you know, live and tank a little bit more. For preparation, this is a me thing for going ahead and just having a bunch of energy on spawn when I start so that I can just go ahead and get the build going and everything. This does not have to be preparation. This can be anything you want it to be. Anything like power, drift, or, you know, just, you know, insert whatever you want here and it'll be fine. I just like having starting energy myself. I'm not running range. If you do want to run range, you'd probably have to take out transient fortitude here. But the reason why I'm not running any range is because the scuttlers here, they don't have a lot of health. they do a lot of damage. They do not have a lot of health. So you will be casting the Widow's Brood here quite frequently. So I didn't really see a need to increase the range when they don't go that far anyways before they just kind of keel over and I got to recast the ability. So that's the reason why I'm not running any range. If you want to, by all means, go for it. I didn't really find it too much of a benefit for me personally. And then for Summoner's Wrath here, of course, this is the Broodmother build, so we're going to have a bunch of summons, we're going to have a bunch of little critters, so the Summoner's Wrath here fits with that perfectly. And then this also pairs very nicely with Nourish. So the reason why I went with Nourish and not something like Roar is because the Summoner's Wrath Aura mod here, this 75% damage, this basically acts like a Roar-like buff. So you're going to get diminishing returns if you also have Roar, you know, on top of another Roar. So I just went with Nourish here just so that I can have like the two pairing and spread viral and just have all the benefits of Nourish while having the benefits of Roar on my companions. And it has been very, very strong to say the least. And yeah, I think that is about it for the build itself. There is like a little silence build that I've been running or whatnot. I'll probably put this over the webbed embrace so I can still summon these little scuttler guys. But yeah, just running silence here just for like certain like events or whatnot that we would have. This works perfectly fine as well if you wanted to just try this out too. But that is the main gist of that. Let's go over my companion. I'm choosing to use Nautilus because, again, just going with the whole Broodmother Summoner kind of build vibe here. Duplex Bond is going to be very, very important because the energy that we use, because we have negative efficiency, we're going to use 100 energy pretty quickly. So there's going to be a bunch of Nautilus that get summoned, and then they're just going to be just causing utter mayhem. They're going to be getting sucked together because of Cordon. It's just going to be, they're just not going to live through it. There's not a lot in the game that can really live through what the Nautilus and the Verglass Prime can do. And this is the build for the Verglass here. And you don't need a ribbon. You don't need a ribbon. I got lucky with my ribbon. You don't have to. You can just run this and you will be more than fine. The Verglass does a bunch of damage. You'll be more than fine. You don't actually. I'll just run this for the trial. It'll be fine. I'm not worried about it at all. So that's what you run on Nautilus there to do a bunch of damage. The secondary doesn't really matter because I'm mostly going to be showing off the Sobek build here. It's pretty much very similar to what was in the Saren video, but I've made a few changes for Araxia herself. And then for the melee, I am using the Okina Prime because of the Incarnon. So the Incarnon has extra movement speed in it, and that does affect Araxia in her 4. When you're in Araxia's 4, fun fact, you can't use melee. So, but you do get the passive benefits of these evolutions. Well, really only the one because it's the movement speed, but yeah. And then now for the Sobek build. Again, this is going to be very, very similar to what you saw with the Saren video, just two big changes. One here is the Shotgun Elementalist. This is going to give more status damage, plus a little bit more magazine, which is nice. The status damage, for whatever reason, doesn't work on Saren, but it does work on Araxia. Not too sure why, but I mean, I'll take it. And then the primary arcane that I am using is Arcane Blight. You do not have to run this if you don't have it. You can, of course, run something like Deadhead. Deadhead works very, very well. I actually have a separate build with Deadhead. And you can also run Merciless too. So you do have options. You just don't have to run Blight. I'm just choosing to run it because I have it. And yeah, I think that's about it. Oh, because we're always in her 4, you can't really generate energy with Zeramin, so I'm choosing to go with Moderite because you can do the whole, you know, power sling thing and get a bunch of get a bunch of power strength that way as well, to also have her 4 snapshot with, which I can showcase too. So yeah, okay, now I think that's everything. So let's go ahead and get into the survival showcase here. All right, let's start this off.
More powerful than before. Only with true mastery
Alrighty.
of the Tenno arsenal will you succeed.
Let's pop into the... Oh, I have 8,000, not 7,000. Well, almost 8,000. Alright, so this... Oh, they died already because of not a list. Yeah, see, like, these things just don't live. Like, it's comical. Just how much things just don't... That's Nautilus. That was a combination of Nautilus and the Scuttlers. Yeah, there's... Yeah. And the one. See, I don't have problems with energy whatsoever, because shit just dies. Let's just use the Sobek here, just to showcase the damage that this thing can deal. And the extra magazine from its nice too. Yeah, we can see the acid shells working and spreading and doing their business. And
life support.
Ooh, I have to reload. Right, a little bit of this, a little bit of this. There it is. Yeah, just your Nautilus and then the Scuttlers and just everything else just doing all this damage, along with Araxia herself just being a weapons demon. Just, yeah, it's... This is what Araxia is about now, and this feels very nice. I also feel like they made her Scuttlers stronger. I was looking through, like, the patch notes, and I didn't see anything that directly, like, increased their damage. Well, outside of their level just being higher, obviously. But, like, I didn't see anything about, like, their, like, base damage or anything like that being increased. But, man, does it feel like it. Because these things, I feel like, just hit like a truck now. Granted, maybe I'm misremembering how much or little damage that they did in the past, but man. Whew. There we go. Here we are. Yep, and then we can, that was acid shells. There we are. On our wall, but we have more damage, but now I can't see. More of this.
Support incoming.
There we go. All that acid cell goodness. A little bit more Scuttlers. Over here. Some of these guys. Yeah, like they're just kind of dying. And then when you want to shoot, you can just shoot someone.
Another life support
there we go.
is now available.
We are almost done with this, funny enough. Yeah, they're just dying. There he is. Oh, I actually can't wait for the other new incarnate. They look pretty, or they sound fun. We don't know what they do yet, but a Strun Prime. That sounds, or a Stug Prime, or Stug Incarnate. I can't say words right now. That sounds like a lot of fun. Also sounds like a giant meme, and I am all for that nonsense. Okay, so I've taken some health. I'm at 6,000, so let's get out of this and get back into it. So I went back up to 1,000 because of, what's it called? Molt Augmented being built up. So that's why that's up. But now, I'm going to also use the Power Sling here. And I'm almost at 10,000 health. So that's something. And then that doesn't go away. That only goes away like when you like deactivate your 4.
Another life support capsule.
Like you will stay at this almost like 10,000 like health value. Thanks to Power Sling. Oops, gotta reload. Whew. The Sobek is a very good gun. What?
The operative has just made their first discovery.
And there's that status immunity that I was talking about from Araxia 4.
Go to extraction.
Come on. No acolyte. You're kidding me. All right, whatever. Let's just maybe one will get in my way. Maybe one will come as I'm. Here we go. That's what I wanted. Use a little bit of this. Ooh. Where is... And Deadzo. Yeah, those little scuttlers will actually deal a decent bit of damage to the acolytes as well. Alright, well, that is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you give Araxia a shot. The Boom Mother build's a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed using it. And I will catch you guys later. Thanks. Bye.